How's it going, everybody? It's Pilot Flame, and we are back with another FPL video. And today we're going to be looking at Game Week 38 plus Triple Captaincy Options or Captaincy Options. I know a lot of people have the Triple Captaincy chip, but before we get into that video, make sure you follow us on all of these different platforms that you can see down below me. It's Pilot Flame 226 on all platforms. Subscribe here on YouTube. We're going to have a bunch of videos going up to end the week, including this one, as well as follow us over on Twitter and Twitch. That's what we'll be doing 2 of our streams. There'll be a pinned comment down below as to when those times are. There's going to be one on Friday and one on Sunday, one for a game week preview and one for the deadline stream. So make sure to catch us on those. We want to keep it interactive because this channel at the end of the day is for your FPL enjoyment. So without further ado, let's get into the captaincy video. So the first player we have on our captaincy list is Harry Kane. He's at 10.9 million in the forward slot, and I think that being at his price point, you can't overlook him, especially with his remaining fixture being against Crystal Palace, who have been quite bad in their recent games and really don't have much to play for. They're kind of just waiting for the next season to kind of start. Kane has had back-to-back braces in his 2 games. He's had 8 shots, 8 of which have been inside the box in his last 4 games. And with this new look kind of Spurs, he's been this innovator slash scorer slash number 10 slash CDM, clearing the ball from, inside his own box, getting the ball, taking it up the field, making the key pass, running into the box, and then getting the big chance and putting them away. He's done quite well for himself. He's had 5 big chances, and he's created 6 in the last 4 games, so he's been doing quite well for himself. And typically, historically, Harry Kane has kind of shown this trend where he starts off quite bad in the beginning of the season, then is steady throughout the season with the good amount of goals, and then towards the end of the season he really catches fire. Now obviously we're in different times now. However, Harry Kane is still the same sort of player, but he seems to be adding things to his game and seems to have recovered from his injury and is playing quite well for himself. So I hope that he can continue this form. I have him in my team. I captained him this game week in Game Week 37, did quite well for me, got me 26 points with the armband on him, so I expect him to do the same thing at Crystal Palace away, and you guys should definitely be looking at him as a potential option to bring in for this game week coming up as your captain. Next up on our list is none other than PierreEmerick Aubameyang. He's actually the same price point as Harry Kane, so easily interchangeable if you wanted to, you didn't think you fancied Harry Kane for the Crystal Palace fixture, and you wanted the home fixture for Aubameyang. Now, obviously, form is temporary, but class is permanent. Aubameyang has shown that he can score goals, and he didn't score versus Aston Villa, but he did look very good in the FA Cup, playing out on the left wing versus Manchester City. With the likes of Kane and Aubameyang, people were kind of thinking, do I bring one in 37 and kind of keep him for both pictures? Who will kind of get more involvements and that sort of stuff? And it has proven to be Kane. So when it comes to kind of looking at Aubameyang, you have to kind of think the fixture is probably better for him in this scenario, mainly because Watford have to go for it, which will leave space in behind for Aubameyang. And I don't expect Arteta to play with Lacazette and Nketiah in the front 3. That kind of stifled them a little bit. They kind of lack that directness that Pepe or when Martinelli, when he's fit, or the likes of Saka will provide as well. So I think he'll go back to his original 3 up front with Saka and then Nketiah maybe through the middle, or Lacazette and then Aubameyang out on left. And that may prove to be a little bit better. He also probably start Tierney as well. And like I said, with Watford having to go for it, that will open up a lot of space in behind. It's exactly what Aubameyang wants to do. It's exactly what he did versus Manchester City. And like I said, although he did look good versus Aston Villa, the style of game that's going to manifest itself versus Watford will most likely be more in like the Man City style of FA Cup game that they had, rather than what they had versus Aston Villa. And Aubameyang's not the type of player to go down easy. He's going to be he's going to pride himself on scoring. He's going to want to at least make something out of the Golden Boot race. I think he's still within a hat trick of Jamie Vardy at the time of recording, so he's still going to be looking and saying, I can still catch up to him and at least tie for it again, as he did last season with Salah and Mane. And they still have the FA Cup final to look forward to as well, so he's still going to want to keep in tip-top shape for that, as they want to be able to get a Europa League spot, as that is the only way that Arsenal can get into Europe as it stands. They cannot get into 7th or higher. even though 5th and 6th are the traditional places. So if they were in 7th, lost the FA Cup final, Chelsea would be in the Europa League position, which would bump another place for them, which would be in 7th. I'm not sure if they have to go through a qualifier, but at least the FA Cup final still gives them a reason to kind of still be in good form and still kind of look forward to that and still have his shooting boots on when he goes to play Watford. So I would definitely look at him as a potential captaincy option if you can bring him in one move up front. Next up on our list, we have Mohamed Salah. He only registered 1 assist versus Chelsea in their 5-3 shootout that they had this evening. However, they did, finally get their hands on the Premier League trophy. That may spark them to kind of finish the season off right. They did end up getting the win, like I said, 5-3, and they may just want to cap it off with just kind of a slamming of Newcastle, which is their last fixture for the season. They don't have any other cups to worry about or anything like that. They've been knocked out of those. However, they got the one that they wanted, which was the Premier League, and I think Salah will still want to get a nice goal total before the end of the season. He does tend to get a lot of chances and can on his day think that he could score with every single shot that he takes, and he's more than certainly capable of doing that. He's always hungry for goals, and that has definitely been prevalent in the last 4 games. He's had 17 shots, which is an average of more than 4 per game, and he's had 12 inside the box, so definitely getting involved. And with Newcastle only having 1 fit center back on their records, this could bode quite well for Liverpool's front 3, and especially Salah, who seems to be getting the majority of the big chances. Then Liverpool won't want to end the season on the wrong foot, because that can potentially spill over into the next season. Maybe they start slow, and then City kind of go ahead with the league and kind of get way ahead, much like how Liverpool did this season, and it could be over by December again, but we'll have to kind of see how that plays out. But I think they'll definitely want to finish strong at the end of the season. And Salah's XGI, which is expected goals involvement, which means whether it be a goal or assist, is over 1 per game in the last 4. So that shows that he's basically, every time Liverpool win a game or score in a game, he's typically going to be involved in at least one of those throughout the last 4 games, which is quite crucial for somebody who you're looking to captain or triple captain and get a mega haul going into game week 38 plus. Now, the last 3 players that we've chosen have all come from, you guessed it, Manchester City. And the first one we have on our list is David Silva. It's going to be his last home game for Manchester City, assuming he doesn't sign the contract that they have on offer for him, which is another 12-month extension where he'll play for them next season. I think he still wants to go back to Spain or potentially even retire. I'm not too sure kind of what the situation is, but I definitely think that he is going to be the man in this game. Home to Norwich, you couldn't have asked for a better fixture for him to go out and just kind of show what he's all about. And El Mago will definitely be in the building, which is basically his nickname, which just means the magician in Spanish. He's probably also going to be on every set piece and penalty, especially if he hasn't scored come like 85th minute and they got a set piece right outside the 18. He's definitely going to be on it. If they get a penalty, he'll most certainly take it. And I definitely think he's going to be the one kind of dictating that. And he's going to be playing a lot further forward than probably Kevin De Bruyne will. I can see the likes of a midfield of De Bruyne, Gundogan, and Silva, which will allow Silva to kind of have this free roam across the midfield, kind of getting into those half spaces where Sterling can kind of drift inside and kind of receive the ball from him. Same with Mars on the other side with Kevin De Bruyne, and Jesus kind of just floats across the 18-yard box or the width of the 18-yard box, and that allows for the fullbacks to kind of create the width, which opens spaces up for the likes of David Silva and Kevin De Bruyne to kind of dictate play from there. Now, there is speculation that people are going to do the same thing, and they're going to do what they did for David Silva, like how John Terry did, where he came off on the 26th minute. But that was a different time. That was when fans were in the stadium, where he could get a standing ovation and all that stuff. I don't see him getting subbed off at 21 minutes. There's no chance of that. Pep Guardiola will want him to go out there and show what he's worth. He's going to play him for every minute of that game, almost certainly. And I expect him to be a very good triple captaincy choice, especially if he's going to be, like I think he is, on penalties, set pieces, and all types of involvement for Manchester City when they play Norwich in this game week 38 plus. And the second City player we have on this list is pretty obvious. It's Raheem Sterling. He just seems like he can make a hole every game. The man just can't stop scoring. He's just getting in the right places at the right time. He's providing, big chance after big chance. He's getting the big chance after big chance, and he just seems to be in the FPL points all the time. He was substituted off earlier in the game. He didn't play 90 minutes previously, so I expect him to start, especially as it allows for the likes of David Silva, as we previously mentioned, to get those half spaces just outside the box to create assists and do what he wants to do. And they'll be focusing a lot on Sterling and potentially Mahrez on the wings, which will leave space for David Silva to operate. And with them providing the width, it will create more havoc for a Norwich team that is not only probably, just kind of feeling down and demoralized, but they're also knowing the fact that this is their last game in the Premier League and they're getting relegated, and they might just try to go out and try to do what they can. Maybe they defend for 90 minutes, who knows, but I think Man City is more than capable of picking them apart, and will definitely they probably haven't thought about that 3-2 defeat that they suffered when they played away at Norwich's home ground, and I think that's maybe a little bit in the back of their minds where they're saying, yeah, let's fix this right, let's show why we were champions one season ago. And I think that they're definitely going to be doing that, and Sterling will be a big part of it as well. And previously, before, Sterling wasn't this type of player to get a lot of big chances or create a lot of big chances on a regular basis, but the underlying stats are showing that in the last 4 games he's been getting those. He's had 6 big chances in which he's put 6 of them away. He's gotten 6 goals in his last 4 games, and he's also created 3 big chances as well. Obviously, he was quite fortunate with the fact that one kind of deflected into Foden's path, which I'm not sure if it counted as a created chance, but in my book it probably would have, because he still technically assisted him in the FPL point of view. And I think that Sterling is definitely going to be one of the starters coming into the game. Remember, Man City still have the Champions League to be thinking about, but I think Sterling is going to be the one that is just showing great form out on the left wing. If he is benched, should be looking to the likes of Riyad Mahrez or Kevin De Bruyne or somebody like that you don't have in your team, and swap him out for a potential other Man City player that is going to starting if we get the early team news for Gameweek 38+. And the last player on our list, he's a bit of a differential pick in a sense, because he hasn't been starting many games recently. However, it's Riyad Mahrez. He's probably, I would say, the second or third most dangerous player, probably tied with Jesus for second maybe, from open play. Kevin De Bruyne is obviously very good from set pieces and assisting, but in terms of goal threat, Mahrez and Sterling are probably the most deadly. Maybe Jesus has an argument in there, although he gets a lot of chances and misses quite a few of them, but still ends up scoring at some points. Whereas Mahrez can basically create something out of nothing. He's really good at doing that. He showed that when he was at Leicester, and he's still showing that here when he plays at Manchester City, registering 10 goals and 13 assists for the season. And he's only 10.2% owned. That'll probably increase slightly as we get closer and closer to the deadline. And he's going to probably start from the beginning. I don't expect to see him on the bench going into this game week. We get early team news to confirm that, but I think he's one of the first names I would pencil down into a kind of a mock predicted City 11. You can also check out what I do predict for the City 11 in my previous video for Pep Roulette for Game Week 38+, which is a new series we've been doing on this channel. But moving back into Mahrez, he's just super dangerous from open play. He may potentially, if David Silva, gets his goal and, maybe comes off, maybe later in the game, he might still be out on the field. Maybe gets a free kick or something, because he also is very good and a very good left-footed free kick taker in itself. He may take a penalty if they get multiples in a game. Who knows? Not really too sure about that one. But I think he'll be an integral part of if KDB plays well. And if KDB plays well, that means David Silva plays well. And if both of those two play well, then it's probably going to be a long night at the office for Norwich. And Mahrez has shown that his directness will allow for the likes of David Silva and KDB to get in those half spaces in between the defense and the midfield, just outside the area in those channels on the inner parts of the box. And he's an FPL asset that we like. He's one that's a little bit on the greedy side, sometimes too greedy, but he does take a fair few amount of shots. He does create a lot, and he's very direct with his play, often taking a defender on, creating a chance out of nothing like we mentioned before. And I think he could be an outside chance, especially if he starts for the captaincy for this game week. And that's going to do it for this video of triple captains for Game Week 38 plus. Make sure to leave a comment down below as to who you're going to be bringing into your FPL team for the final game week of the season. Also, make sure to leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new, and make sure to turn those notification bells on so that you can get the content as soon as it is readily available. Also, as I mentioned, you can follow us on our other two platforms. That's Twitter and Twitch. It's PilotFlame226 on those platforms. Twitter is where we post all of our YouTube videos as well as when we go live for our game week discussions. I also on Twitter do our game week previews as well as deadline streams, which will be doing one of each this game week. There'll be a pinned comment down below on this video where you can find out the details for that. The preview will be on Friday, and the deadline stream is typically goes live 1 hour before the FPL deadline is due for all of our teams. So thanks for watching. Hope you all enjoyed it, and until the next one, take care.